Alright guys, how's it going? My name is Nyxre and welcome back to another episode of The Good, The Bad, and The Teemo, where today I'll be covering Mid Lane Evelynn. So here's a reference guide for today's video. I'd just like to note that Evelynn mid does have a ton of different builds, so depending on which one you use, you may find yourself enjoying the build more or less than I did. While testing it out, I did try out both AP and AD, and the one you want to use will of course vary depending on the rest of your team's composition. For anyone interested, an Imgur link to this reference guide can be found down in the description below. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with the best thing about Mid Lane Evelynn, and that is the amazing roaming potential. Because she is able to become invisible, you can quite easily play mind games with your lane opponent, leaving them clueless on whether or not you've actually left lane or not. You can also use this to try and set up ganks against your lane opponent by joining your jungler and ganking over the mid lane walls. Because you'll be building full damage, you'll also be able to provide your team with both burst and DPS because of the nature of Evelynn's kit. Her Ravage and her ultimate can quickly burst enemies down, and her hate spikes can easily finish off any enemy with some remaining health. Because of her low cooldowns, the enemy will be forced to focus you down, or you'll end up dealing thousands of damage in each team fight. Another great thing about playing Evelynn in the mid lane is the mixed damage that she deals. This will keep your lane opponent from being able to itemize against you unless they are a fully fledged tank. This comes with the added bonus of it not mattering if you've gone AD or AP, because your damage will still be spread rather evenly across both types. This also opens up the possibility of going for a hybrid build with items like Ginsu's Rageblade and Hextech Gunblade. Evelynn is also a very mobile champion thanks to her Dark Frenzy. In addition to increasing your movement speed, it also removes any slows. This is useful against any champion who may have some soft CC built into their kit, or those who build Rylai's instead. You yourself can build Rylai's and stick to your opponents, because if they try and slow you, you can simply use your Dark Frenzy to remove the slow and secure the kill. The final good thing that I'd like to cover about mid lane Evelynn is how good she is against tanks. On top of the fact that she deals mixed damage, which is hard to itemize against, her ultimate also does percent health damage. Using this against the enemy tanks can easily chunk them down for as much as 1/3 of their total health. You will of course want to use this at the beginning of any team fight, because it deals percent of current health damage, which means it won't be doing very much damage at all if the enemy is already low. Moving on to the bad things about mid lane Evelynn, she loses out on some of the advantages that her invisibility provides her in the jungle. While your lane opponent can't really be sure if you've left lane or not, they'll at least be able to know if you've gone MIA, and the rest of their team will be able to react. Whereas if you're playing in the jungle, the enemy can never be sure of where you are unless they have wards in the correct spots. On top of this, if you do manage to get caught out, you're all but assured to die instantly, as you'll be extremely squishy. This isn't always the case if you're playing jungle Eve, because you can easily build tank while filling that role, but you wouldn't want to do the same thing while playing in the mid lane. Now moving on to the Teemo. This is a section that covers the really bad aspects of playing Evelynn this way, and lists the primary reasons why you'd normally play her in a different role entirely. Arguably the biggest problem with playing Eve in the mid lane is how easily she can be hard countered due to her range. Her hate spikes require either being very close to the enemy, or being able to line them up through an enemy minion. This gives long range control mages a major advantage over her, as she'll never be able to get close enough to them to actually put out any damage. Solo lane Evelynn used to be a thing back in the early days of League of Legends, but there is a substantial difference between her kit now and how it worked back then. The biggest difference being that her invisibility isn't as strong as it once was. Unless you're able to catch the enemy off guard, you'll always have time to react, whereas originally you could always try and burst the enemy down because they couldn't see you until you used your abilities. So the main thing that I'm trying to get across here is how different vision works now than it did back then when she was popular. With how many free wards there are because of trinkets, Eve hasn't been a particularly strong pick in any role for a while now, and playing her in the mid lane doesn't really help with any of these issues either. But anyways, that's all I have regarding mid lane Evelynn. There isn't really much to talk about because it goes about as well or poorly as you'd expect it. The fact that she is countered so hard by long range mages is probably the biggest reason why I wouldn't really recommend it. It's still fun, and whenever Urf is active I always play mid lane Evelynn, but outside of Urf it just suffers a bit too much in some crucial areas for it to really be viable. Feel free to leave a like if you did enjoy the video, and subscribe if you're new around here and would like to see more. If you didn't like the video, feel free to leave a dislike. All I ask is that you leave a comment with what you believe I could have done better, so that my future content can continue to improve. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys in this video. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.